2023. It was the Eagles versus the Chiefs. That was a cat.
Wow. It was a cat. Disclaimer, if you don't want your life, your future, and everything you could imagine to be spoiled by this man right here, I'd probably click off the video right now, and I'll give you a little, 5-second warning. Psych! Alright, now everybody's gone, we can move on, I guess. Unfortunately, I've already had my life spoiled for me by rotting my brain with this man, GG33's TikToks. He's a numerologist and one that seems to be not in the good graces of the numerology world right now. He said some really controversial stuff, probably the most controversial stuff since saying that soldiers deserve PTSD or America deserved 9/11. And what did he say? Number 4 is not the number of wealth and that the number 8 is instead. I know. You might want to take a little bit of a breather after that, but maybe just hear him out because he's got some very stone cold proof of this that will absolutely blow your socks off. So just make sure you chastity belt your socks to your feet or wherever you put the socks, I guess. I'm not really judging, and listen to this gospel being spoken to you.
Start by saying that yes, I have figured out that Gary lies about a couple of things.
Yeah, okay. Brother, you're not a numerologist. You belong in a fucking circus.
First and foremost, 8 is not the number of money, 4 is.
8's not the number of money, 4 is. That's why the Chinese started the Olympic Games on 8/8/2008 at exactly 8:08 p.m. Fucking moron.
Now, if you're part of the FBI or MI5, don't blame me for getting this information out there. Do with this information what you will, but after hearing this, personally, I'm probably going to rebrand my channel to 888 at 8:08 p.m. on the 8th day of the 8th month and probably get it tattooed on my forehead so I just manifest loads of wealth and I can finally fund my gambling addiction that I've developed. In all seriousness, if you don't actually understand what the hell numerology is, it's sort of similar to astrology, which to no one's surprise, this man also believes in, where instead of like being a Gemini or whatever based on your birthday, you get a number life path instead that supposedly determines your life, basically, whether that being more smart or being more attractive. And even though it's a little silly to put all your belief in your birthday, and any correlation should really go down to just pure coincidence, at the end of the day, I do think it's just pretty harmless stuff. But this man dials this shit up to 11, and I mean literally 11, as in that event with the planes in New York, that thing in 2001. Just listen to this man explain how 9/11 made sense in numerology.
9/11. Wait a second. Flight 11 hit the World Trade Center that looks like an 11 side by side. They both have 110 stories. New York's the 11th state in the union. New York City, 11 letters. And I'm like, wait a second, what's going on here? Is this a coincidence? But see, I know history. When did the Great War end? On 11/11 at exactly 11 o'clock. At that point, I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on, but I see smoke.
He takes reaching to the absolute next level. And for anybody who's working in the deep state, please don't come after me for spreading this totally correct intel. Get this man in the Pentagon. Get this man working at the FBI. Get this man working at MI5. This guy can predict terrorist attacks with numbers. I guess this man took inspiration from Mason in Black Ops 1. There is no audio, no video, no written evidence, tips, or intel. It is just the shape of the buildings and the fact there are 11 stories in the Twin Towers. These top secret agencies have been looking in the wrong places, man. I guess the entirety of any built-up city in the world is now kind of fucked on the 11th, because if you take 2 skyscrapers in any city, guess what? It probably makes an 11. You take the Cactus Towers in Denmark, you better count your days. If you're in the Petronas Towers in Singapore during the 11th, you probably want to take a day off. The Alcacim Towers, yeah, that's gone too. And for any aspiring architects, you probably don't want to design any buildings that look like 11s if you want your creation to not be blown to smithereens. Even if you're 11 years old at this point, you might blow up. Who the fuck knows? And speaking of people getting game ended, in a surprise to literally nobody, this guy can also predict death too. Yep, the Grim Reaper isn't a myth. He's right here on your screen in the flesh.
I'm 100% confident that even the Rothschilds did not know what I'm about to reveal. I've called it death code. You can actually predict death. Not with the day, but within the year with a lot of accuracy. I believe there's very strong energy within the bloodline. If you have a child, you have a bloodline connection. What I've noticed is a pattern of the old vassal, the parents, dying in the new vassal's enemy year. You'll start seeing this pattern around 65 to 60% of the time.
I love how he has to cop out and say that he sees this happening 50% of the time just to get people off his back that'll say that their parents didn't die in the enemy year. This is exactly like the equivalent of me saying in primary school that I could like down more than 1 carton of milk, get peer pressured by my friends at the time to do it, and then I'd obviously fail, and then I'd just say afterwards, oh, you know, I did it yesterday, believe me, bro. And, you know, like, how on earth do people actually believe this guy? And then to like the few people that do actually believe him with this, do they just like keep their parents in solitary confinement or something? Do they like never let them go outside because they might die in the year of the goat? Are they just reenacting Girl in the Basement, but the roles are reversed? And there has to be a good amount of people that do actually believe him, because if you look at the comments, most of the time, no one is actually calling it out. And I guess these could be bots, but I don't really know. And then you go onto his actual website. This guy is charging $1,000 to be a member of his group. $1,000. You could buy an RTX 5080 with that. You could go on a nice vacation, try some good food, meet good people. Why don't you do that instead? But if you go further down into the rabbit hole like I did and go onto booking a call with him, it gets even worse. It goes up to $3,000 to have one call with him to give you a reading. At that point, if you're that desperate, just get ChatGPT to do it. Turn on the deep research shit if you need to have it so detailed. Are people actually buying this, or am I just tripping? And look, I won't be entirely unfair, because some people might actually want to talk to him, get a reading, because I know some of these people see these sorts of things as like a prophecy. It gives them some direction when they're directionless, which, you know, if it works, it works. But the guys with the cards on those dodgy back alleys and the dodgy streets usually only cost like $10 to $20. Why is this guy almost charging your entire bones and ligaments worth to listen to him yap for an hour? But hey, maybe that's just me. You guys let me know in the comments if you're going to buy his course. Even if you're brave, pay for one of his calls. I know I won't be. And I think this is probably the end of the road for me. My brain can't take this anymore. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, smash the subscribe button. Shit you've all heard before. See you later.